Hey, it's that jaded airline pilot guy again.
You have to have experience to be jaded, my friend. Going back to New York.
Toronto, actually, to visit my sister. Hey, I wanted to ask you something else. I heard you guys make a ton of money, like $200 an hour, and have really sweet pension plans, get to fly for free. So maybe I could put up with all that bad stuff you were telling me about before for that kind of money.
Oh God, where do they get this stuff? The flight schools? Look, the pensions have mostly been trashed long ago. Maybe, if you work for a national airline in Dubai, you still get one, and flight benefits are a joke. They only benefit the airline by allowing low-paid pilots to live in economically depressed areas, since they could not possibly afford to live where the airline is based.
Man, I don't like where this is going already.
Look out that window there. See that first officer freezing his ass off in the snow doing his required pre-flight walk around.
Yes, he looks very cold.
It's like 5 below out there. Hopefully he is checking that plane carefully. Who knows, he may find a bomb in the wheel well or something, since virtually anyone has access to the tarmac.
Shit, I hope he is checking it carefully then.
Guess how much that poor smuck is getting paid right now? Look, he couldn't even afford a pair of gloves.
I don't know. Maybe like $100 an hour?
Yeah, right. Try nothing.
What do you mean, nothing?
Nothing. Now if my fellow pilots heard me say that, they would quickly correct me and say, yeah, he is getting per diem. Okay, he is getting maybe $2 an hour if he is lucky. This is his hourly per diem for him to buy healthy food, and to cover expenses he incurs at work which are not reimbursed by the airline. It is not pay. I call it our lunch money, although, unless you eat at McDonald's and eat the free bad hotel breakfast food every day, it will not cover your meals. We get that for each hour we are at work. But that first officer's actual pay has not started yet. So I like to say the company bought him his Starbucks coffee this morning in exchange for his first hour of work without pay.
Hey, look, he has a Starbucks coffee in his hand.
Surprise. So there is his $2. He thinks that $2 is still in his paycheck. It's part of the delusional state pilots are perpetually in. Through cognitive dissonance and a special aviation vocabulary, he has actually been tricked into working without pay. It is the same at the majors or regionals.
So then you are also only getting $2 an hour right now? Oh, wait, but you have a Starbucks coffee too.
I have already checked the weather and release. Now I will go out to the aircraft, verify that the aircraft is safe and legal to fly, maybe call for fuel, run cockpit checks, check the clearance, program the FMS, and who knows what else. All for this cup of coffee.
Shit, so when I board my flight and see the pilots sitting up front looking like they are doing all sorts of important work, they are actually getting paid nothing?
Nothing.
Okay, so then when exactly do you guys start getting paid?
Basically anytime the aircraft engines are running we are getting paid.
So you don't get paid for stuff you do before or after the flights, like paperwork and stuff?
No.
What about all the wasted time between flights, the delays due to weather, mechanical problems, or ATC delays and meal time?
Nothing.
Why don't you get paid for all the time you are at work?
Because we are not at work.
You are not at work. If you are not at work, then what have you been doing since you got to the airport?
Working.
But if you don't think you are at work while you are working, then where the hell do you think you are?
On duty.
On duty? So then what does your duty require of you?
To be at work.
So then what is the difference between being at work and being on duty?
Nothing. When I am on duty I get paid my lunch money. I also get paid my pay if I fly someplace. Pilots never use the W word. We only say we are on duty.
Don't pilots realize that being on duty is the same thing as being at work without pay?
Not really. They have been brainwashed to think the unpaid hours at work are to eat their lunch, update their charts, read company memos, gossip in the crew room and walk aimlessly through the airport, listening to repetitive pre-recorded airport announcements until their next flight.
I'm sorry, but this is completely bizarre. So when you are at work you never say you are at work, instead you say you are on duty. Why?
If you tell pilots they are at work they will expect to be paid. But if you tell them they are only on duty they don't. Simple.
So pilots only think flying the plane is work and only get paid when the engines are running.
Right. So today I will be on duty 13 hours but only scheduled to fly 5, so I will get paid for 5 plus my lunch money.
But what if there are weather delays and you are at work? Sorry, you are on duty for 15 hours, but only fly the 5.
I still only get paid for 5 hours.
This is crazy, especially considering that they can keep you at work for 15 hours a day. You needed a union to negotiate this work arrangement for you.
Cognitive dissonance.
Okay, by analogy this would be like someone working in a call center in India and only getting paid for the time they are actually on the phone answering calls, but not for the entire time they are at work.
Right. Exactly. But unlike an airline pilot, a girl from India at a call center is a smart educated cookie. More educated than the average airline pilot who only has VOTEC training. She would quickly figure out that she has been tricked.
Conned.
Hoodwinked.
Duped.
Swindled.
Bamboozled.
Ripped off.
Man, I was under the impression you guys made like $200 an hour. I mean, you work for a major airline. Your company flies all over the world.
Look, I have been a captain with this major airline for 5 years and only make $140 an hour.
Yeah, but you only get that for the flight time. Not for all the time you are at work. I mean on duty.
Right. Today I will be paid $720 for 5 hours of flying plus $26 lunch money, for a total of $700. The union wants about 2% of this off the top, so say $14 for them. They even take a part of my lunch money. I think of union dues as a tax that only pilots pay, even though is more than most state income taxes. Anyway, I end up with about $685 pre-tax. Divide that into the 13 hours I worked today, and my hourly pay rate was about $52. Or so it seems.
Or so it seems?
Right. Now let's say flights are delayed due to weather. I will still probably fly my flights, but due to delays, I may actually be at work for 15 hours instead of the 13 originally scheduled. That means my pay would be divided by 15 hours instead of 13 for $45 an hour. So my rate can drop, and often does significantly. Sure, the flight times may be longer, but it will not make up for the extended time on duty.
So basically you have no idea what your hourly rate will be on any given day.
No.
But it looks like the risk of any bad weather or other problem is on the pilot. If things go wrong he has to work longer, but for no extra pay.
Right.
When you calculate your pay correctly, considering how long you have been a pilot and all the time you have to be away from home, and all your training, you are really getting paid crap.
When you consider all the time I waste commuting without pay, sometimes an entire day, the crash pad expense, and the second car I keep at my base airport to get to my crash pad, it is even worse.
I'm beginning to understand why my ticket was only $89.
Right. It's not all bad. This industry needs a steady stream of naive, starry-eyed 19-year-old males with big egos who are addicted to aviation and think it is cool to be a pilot. The guys who are passionate about flying the jets. These guys will literally work for airplane snacks. These guys are living a dream that will become a nightmare. But the dream is what keeps airfares low. This industry needs those guys and the unions that negotiate their low pay. We need guys who will pay an airline just to be hired. Think about that.
I guess I was just living in the past. The flight attendants in go-go boots and the $300,000 a year pay. That stuff is all over.
Right. That stereotype is dying a slow death, especially thanks to the old geezers writing stories for flying magazines about the good old days flying for Pan Am. Young current pilots should be writing those magazine articles for a reality check. This industry has transformed completely since deregulation. For the better, I might add, from a consumer perspective. Pilots are paid far less than most vocationally trained individuals now on average, and there is nothing wrong with that. We may wish for higher pay, but supply and demand will continue to cause wages to go lower. Anyway, it has been good talking to you again. Have a nice flight.
See you later.